You are now watching episode 2 of Writer's Block, how to rap and write songs with your boy, Roaster. You already know the vibe.
Shoot a block, shoot a block. All my niggas want cook up.
You already know the vibe. Salute to everybody tuning in right now. Salute to everybody tuning in right now. You already know the slogan of the block. Here on the block, ain't no beef. Everybody's welcome on the block. To be a part of our block, all you got to do, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bells on to make sure that you're notified when we drop new content. Okay, today's episode now, we're going to be going into, drum rolls, we're going to be going into make every word count. On our last episode, we talked about what is a 16. We went into metronomes. You could see that on Uda Block now. You can go back and check out that episode. But today we're going to go into make every word count. As artists, a lot of times we settle for less, right? What separates the great artists is that they push themselves to another level of writing or creation, whatever form of creating that they create. They push themselves past that point of breaking, past that wall. When you get writer's block and stuff like that, you got to be able to push your pen past that wall. Now, what I mean by make every word count, right? You know, sometimes as artists, we tend to, let's say you get down to the end of your verse sometimes and you don't really know what to put there. And then you just throw something there, any old thing there. You just say, and it's just at the end. Let me just throw this there. Don't do that. You know, don't do that. I never do that, actually. You know, I like to say the best thing from the beginning to the very end. You know, when you're doing that, it's like you got this beautiful crib and you're setting this up in this living room, this beautiful living room. You set it all up and you got the mantelpiece now. And then you just go throw some shit up there or something, anything up there. You know, the mantelpiece is supposed to be something that just tops it all off. You know, something that at the end, it just makes everything that came before it worthwhile. You see what I'm saying? So today we're going to go into metaphors, similes, double entendres, puns, different things like that. I came up with this segment for a young kid that I know named Justin. He's from Brooklyn. He's a 12-year-old rapper. And every time I used to see him, he always used to come to me and tell me, like, ask me questions about rap and ask me different questions about flows and different things. I haven't seen him as much through COVID and everything. His mom doesn't let him outside as much now, but he had contacted me. He saw one of my live streams and he contacted me and he told me, he said, why can't you just do a live stream and teach me? And, you know, you could teach other people as well. You know, it wasn't something that I was really thinking about, but, you know, I said, I'll do it, you know, so that's why we're here now. And this is why I came up with this segment that's going to be on my Uda Block network called Writer's Block, how to rap and write songs with me, Roaster, right? So now we're going to go into metaphors, similes, puns, and double entendres, the official double entendres. You know, he always used to come to me and say, you know, how I say hot lines, or he called them hot lines, right? But, you know, you would call them punchlines or like bars or different things like that. He was just calling them hotlines and stuff. But he didn't really understand what goes into these hot lines, what makes a hot line, you know? So I'm going to go into a metaphor first, right? A metaphor, right, is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or an action to which it is not literally applicable. So a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or an action to which it is not literally applicable, right? So this is the difference in between a metaphor and a simile. I'm going to be going into a simile next, right? Because a simile compares every way, right? So let's go into another definition and another breakdown of what a metaphor is so we can start to understand how we can go about using metaphors, using similes, using puns and double entendres in rapping and writing lyrics and writing bars. Sometimes people just don't know how to go about doing this, right? It's an art to it. It's an art, and it's something that I've studied, right? So a metaphor is a figure of speech that is used to make a comparison between two things that aren't alike, but do have something in common, unlike a simile, where two things are compared directly using like or as. A metaphor's comparison is more indirect, usually made by stating something is something else. A metaphor is very expressive. It is not meant to be taken literally. Okay, once again, a metaphor is very expressive. It is not to be taken literally. You may have to work a little to find the meaning in a metaphor, right? So now I'm going to give you some examples of what a metaphor is, right? Let's go into what a metaphor is. Let's go into some examples of what a metaphor is, right? The snow is a white blanket. He is a shining star. Her long hair was a flowing golden river. Tom's eyes were ice as he stared at her. The children were flowers grown in concrete gardens. Kisses are the flowers of affection. The fallen snowflakes are dancers. The calm lake was a mirror, right? So it's comparing two things that has something similar, but it's not equally compared, right? Like the snow is a white blanket, but without using like and as. When you're using like and as, that's a simile. Sometimes you hear it and you be like, damn, that was a dope metaphor. But when you're using like and as, that is what you would call a simile, right? So let's go into similes. Excuse me, right? Let's go into similes a little bit. What is a simile, right? A simile. A simile is a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind, used to make a description more emphatic or more vivid. Brave as a lion, crazy as a fox. You see what I mean by simile? And a simile, once again, uses like and as. So when you comparing something and you use like and as, this is a simile, right? And I'll give you an example of some similes so you can understand how to like put similes together, right? And then you can make your own. Some of these similes are used, right, in writing. You were as brave as a lion. They fought like cats and dogs. He is as funny as a barrel of monkeys. This house is as clean as a whistle. We've all heard that one before, right? He is as strong as an ox. Your explanation is as clear as mud. Watching the show was like watching the grass grow. It was like taking so slow, and it was the show just dragging on. It's like watching grass grow. If you sit and watch grass grow, you will never see it grow, right? So this is the example that they're making in this simile. So this is how you get to learn how to use a simile in a verse, right? So now let's go into what a pun is, right? A pun is a joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word, or the fact that there are words which sound alike but have different meanings. I'm going to give you an example of that, right? I'm going to give you an example of that right now. Let's check this out, right? This is an example of puns, right? For example, a river and tears aren't very alike. One is a body of water in nature, while the other can be produced by our eyes. They do have one thing in common, though. Both are types of water that flows. A metaphor uses this similarity to help the writer make a point. Her tears were a river flowing down her cheeks. You see the pun in that? As a river is so much larger than a few tears, the metaphor is a creative way of saying that the person is crying a lot. There are so many tears that they remind the writer of a river, right? Metaphors help writers and poets make a point in more interesting ways. They also help the reader see something from a new perspective by describing tears as a river. For example, the writer found a creative way to describe how great the girl's sadness was and help the reader see the similarity between tears and a river. So you get how they're using a pun and how a pun is used. And once again, what a pun is a joke that makes a play on words. A pun makes use of words that have more than one meaning, or words that sound similar but have different meanings to humorous effects. The rhetorical term for punning is paramasia, which literally means to call by a different name, right? So these are puns. So these are the things that great artists are using. They're using metaphors, they're using similes, they're using puns. If you want to be a great artist, a great rapper, especially because rap is founded on punchlines, hard lyrics, different things like that, then you need to understand how to construct similes, how to construct metaphors, how to construct puns. And the next thing that I'm going into, which a lot of people don't know about and sometimes is kind of unheard of, which are the double entendres, right? What is a double entendre? A double entendre is an open word or phrase open to two interpretations, one of which is usually risque or indecent. A word or phrase open to two interpretations, one of which is usually risque or indecent. This is what a double entendre is. Jay-Z is famous for using a lot of double entendres. When you get the like similes and stuff like that, when another reason why I say, before I elaborate more on the double entendre, another reason why I say to push your pen, right, is because I'll use somebody for example. Let's say Big. I use Biggie, right? I'll use Big for example. But yeah, I'm gonna make a point. Let me just remember this slide that I'm gonna get back to. It's the third slide. I'm gonna get back to it, right? I make a point like this with Big, right? Why you should push your pen. This is a point that I'm gonna make, right? In 1993, right? Notorious Big, okay, Big, B-I-G, forever, right? He never died. He living. He's still here with us. Notorious Big in 1993, he said, "Oh my God, I'm dropping shit like a pigeon." And back in 93, that shit was hot. That shit was fire. They like, oh, you can drop shit like a pigeon. It's cool. It's all right. In 1996, right? This is a simile, once again, because some people might have thought this was a metaphor. You might have thought this was a pun. You might have thought this was a double entendre. No, this is a simile. When you're using like, as, and another one, when you're using more than, is also a simile, right? So he said, "Oh my God, I'm dropping shit like a pigeon." And in 1996, right, he said, "I drop unexpectedly like bird shit." That's fire. You know what I'm saying? He updated his bar. You know what I mean? Great artists update their music, update their bars. You know what I'm saying? You think of music or you think of something at the time as you see it. As your perspective changes, as you get better at a craft, as you get better at it, automatically that's going to change. So now you see things different and you see things through a different lens. You see things through a different scope now. So it's like, damn, you go listen back to something or you might catch a vibe and say, you know what? Damn, I could flip that. You know what I'm saying? So when you do think of sometimes similes or metaphors and you come up with something, two comparisons of something, try to flip it to get it the most tightest to the point that each side equals up perfectly. Because sometimes people say similes and people think they're metaphors, or people say things that sound like similes, but they're not really similes. They don't really compare. You know what I mean? They don't really compare. So push your pen, right? You know what I'm saying? Try to push past that place of where you can go. Next time we're going to go into some kind of flows. Once again, you know, I went into it in my last episode about flows and 16s and metronomes and different things of that sort, you know? So that's a whole nother beast. Once again, that's a whole nother beast. But you could just see like this example, how big his lyrical growth, how he was pushing his pen. He could have left that lyric in 1993 just like that. But he revisited it. And great writers revisit their work. If you're writing a book, you will revisit it. If you read a good book, you might read it again. If you watch a good movie, you might watch it again. So great writers revise their work. You know what I mean? It's not just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Great writers, great creators revise their work. You can always make it better, especially as your perspective changes. You see things different. You see how you could have done something better. You see how you could have made it more witty. You see how you could have made the line hit harder. You see what I'm saying? You see how you could have made the line hit harder. So I do want to go into the explanation of what a double entendre is, right? And a double entendre is one of the earliest known examples of a double entendre is found in literature, dates back to the 14th century in his famous work, The Canterbury Tales. Chaucer used many different examples of double entendres. One of the most famous, however, is the use of the word quinte, to describe both the domestic and womanly duties in the home, as well as the female genitalia. So you see how he's using this play on words? This thing sounds like something where it sounds and it can be used as something related to a female's genitalia, but it also is meaning related to a woman's duties in the home. You know, the things on the screen, y'all could look back at what, you know, everything that's on the screen. Y'all could just revise that and see what's going on. Check the double entendres. Check out what a pun is. Check out what a simile is. Check out what a metaphor is. This is what makes the greatest artists the greatest artists. This is what makes them the greatest artists. They know how to use these tools. These tools are in their back pocket. They're in their back pocket. They know how to come up with metaphors. They know how to come up with similes. And these are the things that your friends or whoever you think that likes rap or likes music is going to be liking. That's what they're going to like. They're going to like those bars that hit hard. Pause. But that's the bars that they're going to feel. You feel me? Most definitely, that's the bars that they want to feel. Once again, Writer's Block is sponsored by don'thidetheplug.com, where you can get your dope new era fitteds, old New York, the Don't Hide the Plug. This one I got on right now, the So NY, a most definitely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hat. You could go to www.don'thidetheplug.com right now, and you can get that right now. Don't Hide the Plug brings you quality hats such as the Old New York, Clout Kings, as well as Nationality Hip Hop.
All hats are created through a partnership with New Era. Don't Hide the Plug is continuously pushing the lines of the culture through fashion. For hats, clothing, as well as other merchandise, visit www.don'thidetheplug.now and get yours.
Yeah, www.don'thidetheplug.com and get yours now. 15% off your next purchase. Like I said, push your pen. We all get writer's block. The greatest of artists gets writer's blocks. The greatest of authors get writer's block. But what you do when you get writer's block is what's going to make the situation. Push your pen. Push yourself to write. Push yourself to write something better than the last thing you just wrote. Push yourself to excel a metaphor or a simile a little higher. Flip the metaphor twice, 3 times, how I used to do when I was younger writing raps. I used to come up with a metaphor or simile, then I used to flip it and come up with another one. So now that's like 2. Then I'm flipping and come up with another one. But then as I'm flipping them, the final one is like the final metaphor. That's the closest to perfect. It matches up on every side. So the key to writing is what? Reading. Metaphors, puns, similes, double entendres. All these things are doing what? Comparing things. If you don't know nothing and you don't have a lot of things in your brain to compare, what can you compare? What can you compare? Your comparisons are going to be limited. So with knowledge, that's going to expand your lens, broaden your view, broaden your perspective, and what you can do with music, what you can do with bars, what you could do with a metaphor, what you could do with a simile, what you could do with a pun, what you could do with a double entendre. This is what makes some of your favorite artists the greatest artists, especially Jay-Z. Every single verse has these 4 things in it. If it don't have a double entendre in the verse, it has metaphors, it has similes, it has puns in it. Beyond other things, which I'm going to bring up on future episodes. Every Jay-Z verse has that. Every Biggie verse has those. They have them. If you start breaking them down, I'll pull up a song right now and show you word for word, one for one, like short sleeves, I bare arms, like short sleeves, right? Right? Like short sleeves, I bare arms. Short sleeves, bare arms. Short sleeves, bare arms. I bare arms. I'm holding a weapon. I'm bearing a weapon. You see what I'm saying? Him and Jigga and Big was having a field day. Some of the greatest people to ever write metaphors and similes. They was having a field day on Brooklyn Finest. Damn near every single line is a metaphor, simile, pun, double entendre, or one of the various other forms of English that they're using. The craziest thing about this is that in school, it wasn't even one of my favorite topics. It wasn't one of my favorite subjects. I learned about metaphors and similes and puns and double entendres through writing rap and through writing music. I knew how to write them. This is before I could really explain what they were. I knew what they were because people say what they are. But before I could really explain what they were, I knew how to do it. I knew how to compare the things and to do that. But then when I understood it, it became an art form. So study the greats. The greats study the greats. Do not think you like a copycat or something. You could take what the next person's doing to the next level. This is what we've been doing since the beginning of mankind, taking what the last person has done to the next level. The student learns from the teacher, and the teacher also learns from the student. Either way, depending on how you look at the spectrum, whether the cup half full or the cup half empty. But do your research. You could compare any art to any art. Michael Jordan, he was in there practicing, getting to it. I don't care if you're talking about some cooking, maybe Julia Child, she wrote the French cookbook or something. She was in there practicing her craft. So practice makes perfect. I read that in a book called The Outliers. You can read that book. It says 10,000 hours of practice time in anything should make you a professional at it. I read a lot of books. You know what I mean? They think, yo, just because you in the street and shit, you can't read books. No, man. I read books too, bro. And be on the block and be, yeah, all that too. What happened? That don't mean you can't put something ahead on, man. So if you want to do music, study the craft, study your art. To all the young artists that's out there like Justin in Flatbush, one of these days I'm going to bring Justin on to my stream so that y'all can see him, y'all can meet him. I don't know if I could get him to rap and do some music. That would be really, really, really great. That would be dope. That would be dope. So I'm going to talk to Justin about that and see if he's willing and he's not shy and he's willing to come on this live stream, because I think that he'll inspire so many other young people like him to do music, to not be shy, to break out your barriers, to push your talent, to just shine. If you're shining, shine. Don't put a shade on it. Don't put a lampshade on your shine. If you're shining, shine. The greats get nervous. The great get shy. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. Nerves are a part of it. What you do after you get the nerves is what's going to make or break you. So this is another episode of Writer's Block, our second episode. Subscribe to the channel now to make sure that you're updated when we drop new content. Make sure to turn on the notification bells. I will be releasing some new content. I will be releasing it real soon. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I hope that this was informative. I hope that some people learned some things from this. I hope that you learned what a metaphor was, what a simile was, and I gave you some examples for those who don't know. Hopefully I brought it to your attention and you could do some more research. Everything that I'm telling y'all on this live stream is for your own research. I'm not a know-it-all and everything, but I do know music. I do know how to compose music, arrange music. I write rap, R&B, pop, country. I write everything. I write all forms of music, you know, depending on the languages I know a couple, you know, and a few words I know, I can write music in those languages as well. So push your pen. You know, if I stayed in a place where I was just rapping and stuff like that, I would have never pushed my pen, you know, but I began singing first as a kid. And then I was playing instruments, saxophones and instruments. And then I began to rap at 12 years old and write songs and create albums. So it was a process, but I still create those kinds of records. Like on my last project, Welcome to Shoot a Block, which is on Uda Block now on YouTube. You know, I wrote the whole album. R&B songs. I arranged all the music, brought the singers in. I arranged them, yo, singing this part, singing this way. I did everything. You know what I mean? Worked closely with my engineer, Max. Salute the Max. Most definitely salute the Max, man. You know, I got so much music. I got a lot of things that I want to show you guys. I could, you know, y'all can leave a comment. It's certain questions you want to ask me. Just ask me. Maybe I'll form a show around it, form a segment around it. So don't be shy. You know, if you have questions for me, just drop them in the comments. Just drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you. If it's a good one, I'll most definitely form a show around it. And hopefully I can answer your questions and you can be on your musical journey to getting better at your craft, you know? That's what it's all about. So most definitely salute to y'all for viewing. Thank you if you've made it to this part of the stream. Salute to you, the viewer. Everything that I'm doing is for you. Like, comment, share. But what I'm here for are your comments. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have a certain question, let me know. I'm going to go into a song called Gone Already. It's off my new upcoming project. You already know the vibe. Uda Block Live. We cooking up. If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. You want to leave?
you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone. When I hit the studio and I make her cook up, it's clear. It's just something that she fears. Sometimes people hold you back because they want you near. But tell the truth, baby, I ain't even here. Shit, I'm gone already. Champagne done poured already. I done walked off the court already. All the houses is bought already. My toughest case has been fought already. Baby mother took me to court already. Surprise, I thought the lies were thought already. I'm right, the judge believe it's a song already been done. But this whole shabak will move on, already been done. But this whole shabak will move on, cause I guess I was wrong. Your family turned their back, shall we move on? And your sister kicked you out pregnant as foul as your mom's. And your dad kicked you in Halo out with cops on the horn. And your brother said, fuck up. He said, I think you should go. Walk out the door, don't see us no more. Guess who was wrong? Was in that shelter with you, what does you want? I came back to that shelter, guess who was gone? Took my halo from me, don't know how my day go for me. All I know that mommy praying for me. All I know is that God is great. And when the rain drops, replace the sunny days. And the money goes, will the honey stay? Yeah. I don't expect her to stay with me. Gone after she lay with me. If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. You want to leave? I think you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone. Every time I hit the block and I make a cook up, it's clear. It's just something that they fear. If you win, they think they lose, so they don't want to share. Sometimes people hold you back, they want you near. But I'm gone already. At the telebus and Dom already. All the birds flying south, shit, they gone already. Probably in the south by now, long gone already. I should be on $1 million already. Guess you was wrong, thought I could trust you, nigga. Guess who was wrong? Learn who you are around bitches, and the lesson was long. You said something about investment, I guess cash was our bond. So your investment, I'll invest in a song. The friendship sale, say so long already. Lock me up, I made bail, bitch, I'm gone already. Can't hold me, I'm giving away these long jaws already. And the Jack Mac in the suits and shit. I pop more and I don't do that, Chris. Love steak from Ruth and Chris. Hold up, nigga, let me talk my shit. And when you in that cell on them cold days, saying, please, Lord, forgive me for my own ways, yeah. They say get your flowers when you're living. Shit, I guess that's why a nigga love rose. If you want to go, I think you should go. Walk out the door, won't see me no more. The industry been waiting for me, and I'm right at the door. Shit, I'm already gone. You want to leave? I think you should leave. If you want to go, I think you should go. Won't see me no more, cause I'm already gone. This song, just know I got on and I'm already long and gone. And if you think I have a heart, know that it's cold and it won't be warm again. Shit, I'm already gone. Gone already. Gone already. I'm gone already. I'm gone already. Shit, I'm already gone. Shoot a block, cooker.